Our next guest is a longtime performer in the Colorado theater scene. He is currently starring in Candlelight Dinner Playhouse's production of The Music Man as Harold Hill himself. So please welcome Bob Hoppe.
All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm standing here.
All right, so The Music Man.
Yes.
What is The Music Man?
What is The Music? The Music Man it's actually one of those brilliant classical style musicals where, I mean, I feel like the whole point of the show is watching this stranger come into the town and be like, all right, how can I take these rubes for everything I possibly can? And that's kind of his trick, right? He goes from town to town to town, and then he shows up in this particular town where the other salesmen are like, you'll never make it there, you'll never get it there. And he shows up and, of course, works his magic, and the entire town sort of buys into it and comes along. But this one is different because he meets this woman, this librarian, and she kind of sets him off his game. Like, he's always been, this is so formulaic for him. He's been doing it and doing it. And then he meets this woman, and something about her just throws him off his game, and they fall in love and happily ever after.
Exactly. And what's it like getting to play that title role?
This, I mean, I'm sure actors say this all the time, but this role is a dream come true. Like, I feel like I've spent my entire life working up to something this charismatic and fun and charming and all the things that Harold gets to be. Plus, he's a little sneaky. When he starts, he's a little sneaky, but it's all fun.
Are you a little sneaky in real life? Is that
maybe just a little?
Maybe just a little.
You got to be an actor.
Yes,
You got to
exactly.
hustle, pound the pavement.
Exactly, and you're just coming off of Joseph at BDT stage.
What an amazing production. I'm so lucky and fortunate to have worked with those people. They're like, the talent that was on that stage at one point is, it's so unbelievable.
Yes.
There was dancing. Matthew D. Peters outdid himself with the choreography and the staging of that show. I mean, the stairs were lighting up and we were all dancing and the Pharaoh came and
it was a solid, and it was fantastic.
So much fun.
Yes. So I have a question.
Okay.
A very serious question because I feel like I'm missing out on something.
Okay.
So you recently just went to Las Vegas.
I did.
Right before that, you went to Disney World.
I did.
How are you affording all this?
Okay, so there are tricks. There's always tricks. This is the Harold Hill coming out.
Okay.
There's always tricks to everything. So whenever I go somewhere, they always have like little cards you can sign up for or little like promotional things. When you do that, I know it's kind of a pain for a lot of people because then you get all of this email and all of this spam. But for me, I can weed through that and then I get like, oh, a free trip here, a free stay here. So I'm lucky enough because actors traditionally do not make millions of dollars. I'm lucky enough that I get these free rooms here or this free And then, I also have friends in the business who, I have flight attendant friends, I have people. And so I'm like, hey, how can you hook me up? And then they always, so I'm able to travel a bit, but it's also my passion. Like, I love to do it. I love to do
It's your passion to go to Vegas and
It
Disney
is my
World.
That's you got it. You got
passion.
it. Look, Disney. That's why I have to.
Exactly. So you're like those companies' worst nightmares. You actually take them up on their offers.
I do indeed. I do indeed. They make them and send them out, and I take them.
And
so that's how I do it.
Well, that's fantastic. And you also, if we could talk about, you got your first tattoo.
I did. So again, there's always a story to everything with me. I had been planning this for a while, and I'm because I'm such a Disney person, I'm sure it's going to be something Disney.
Yes.
And then earlier in this year, my mom passed away, and so I was like, gosh, maybe I should do something for her, maybe I should do something, super serious. And everybody's like, no, wait, do something fun for you first, and then you can plan something bigger. Well, in traditional Bob Hoppe style, I went backwards. I planned something Disney, and I planned it huge, and then I'm going to do something for my mom in September that's small.
Okay.
So, yeah. You
can we see it? Let's
sure.
see it. What is it? Will you describe it?
Yes, of course I will. So it's like a week old. It's like so fresh. It's the crest of the Haunted Mansion, my favorite attraction.
Yes.
And then inside is one of the ghosts that appears. He just recently reappeared in the Haunted Mansion called the Hatbox Ghost. And he's holding a little hatbox that says Haunted Mansion. And so that's what it is.
Yeah.
It still needs color and touch up and excitement.
But obviously you made it through the initial round.
Yes. All of my friends, and I say that hesitantly because all of my friends were like, oh, it's nothing. It's just like a little pinch, a little scratch. It's totally fine.
Right.
Liars, sir. Liars they are, because the entire first hour I was like I couldn't grit my teeth hard enough and hold onto the chair hard enough. The whole outline, it was like a torture chamber. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
But then it calmed down and probably nerves or adrenaline or
Right.
who knows.
Then you just passed out.
Yeah, I just passed completely out in the chair and she just finished it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was exciting. And now every morning when I get up and I'm getting dressed and I still catch myself in the mirror sometimes like, oh, right, I have a
It's
tattoo
there.
now.
It's there.
I have
It
a
shocks
tattoo
you a
now.
little bit, and then you like recover.
But I
from
do
it.
love it, and everybody. It's weird. Everybody stops me on the street, people that you would never talk to are like, "Oh, let me see it. Your ink is awesome." And I'm like, "Okay, cool."
You're in a whole entire
I didn't
new
know.
group now.
I didn't know.
So, what is your favorite part about playing Harold Hill?
You know, again, like I said, he's a little bit tricky, but what I think I love about him is that even through sort of the manipulation and everything that he does to get these people on board his, silly little game, I think there's an element for him, or the way I'm choosing it anyway, there's an element of fun in it. I feel like he's still like, I'm getting them, but like, let's see how see how far I can push it. What exactly, no matter how many times he's faced with the mayor and the constable and all of the quartet, saying, hey,
Right.
no matter how many times he comes up against an obstacle, he's like, you know what, I got this, and he just like gets himself through it. It's really amazing and fun. So I think I like the heart and the playfulness and the fun of the whole thing. I think that. And that matches clearly my personality quite
exactly.
well.
So the last question I want to ask, because everyone who's worked at Candlelight, I always have to ask this question. How's the drive for you?
It's not great. So again, a few months ago, I just recently moved downtown.
That's what I thought,
Cap Hill. So it's a trek, right?
Yeah.
But again, my personal way that I deal with it, because I do get a little stressed out over traffic and a little, not road ragey, but I get kind of, frustrated. How I deal with it is I use that hour plus, I go through the show.
Perfect.
Every time I've ever worked there, when I was Don Lockwood and Singing in the Rain, when I was in Anything Goes, I just would go through the entire show in my head. And so I've already sort of run through things and processed it all, and that's sort of my rough rehearsal.
That's how you get through.
And that's how I get through that hour
drive
drive down. And then at night, it's so much easier.
Yeah,
Without
you
traffic,
just zip on.
Yeah, right down.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's so much easier.
Yeah, and that's why people should make that drive on up there.
And that's
see you
why,
guys.
yes, exactly. Just
So
on
get the
radio.
soundtrack before.
That's right.
Listen
to
it.
the show.
Then they
Exactly.
can compare you to the the
That's
recorded
right.
soundtrack.
There's so many. There's the Revival. There's Robert Preston. There's so many you can listen to.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming
Of
on.
course,
We
it's
loved
such
having you.
my pleasure.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you. This is great.
Yeah, of course. All right. Perfect. Stick around. We'll be right back.
I hate to wake you up to say goodbye, but the dawn